Hi everyone. I wanted to make a video about our wonderful nut production trees in California, and an interesting thing that we've done to our walnut trees here to make them produce what we want and also to help them survive in this super dry area of Central California. So this tree right here is really interesting. If we look low, can you see that this bark here actually has two different distinct colors, and it almost looks like someone came here and painted like this area to be dark and this area to be light? Well, it's actually two species of tree in one organism right here. And you can notice the foliage here, those leaves are pretty dang pointy, right? So we have our compound leaves that are pointy, and then up here we have compound leaves that are quite rounded, quite ovate leaves. Well, that's because this walnut tree here in the genus Juglans is actually a grafted tree in the remnants of an old orchard that was used for walnut production. Now, something that's very common you'll see in California here is the utilization of Juglans hindsii, which is our native Northern California black walnut. Right here, Juglans hindsii is a rootstock for walnut production, with the top canopy being Juglans regia, which is your English walnut. There's a few reasons why this happened throughout California. One is that Juglans regia produces really good tasting nuts. It also produces a lot of nuts. So if you're in an agricultural system, you want a product that produces a lot of product, right? And reduces your cost or your balance. And the reason that we have Juglans hindsii down here is because this species is native. As you could tell, English, it's from England. This species down here is co-evolved with everything else that's going on in the area here, the native dry Central Valley of California for most of the year, and it also is co-evolved with the pathogens that are here. So Juglans hindsii is a species which is able to withstand and resist verticillium wilt. So when we plant Juglans hindsii rootstock trees, we have the ability to resist infection from pathogens, and then we also have up here from our English walnut an ability to produce a lot of nuts. And in California, they still utilize this tactic. These trees are probably remnants from the Dust Bowl era. You know, a lot of people from the Midwest moved out here to produce agricultural products as a saving grace, but they also utilize this tactic now with Juglans hindsii, which of course is becoming, it's got its own issues with a couple other diseases. So they're utilizing pecan, and pecan is Caria illinoisensis. So it's in a whole different genus, but it's able to perform the same benefits of being a drought-resistant, kind of very sturdy floodplain species where you can graft on top this English walnut. And if we talk about how you do this, you don't come here in the middle of the forest and you chop down a huge tree and then glue this on top. You do this with an itty-bitty little tree. So something, back in the day when those settlers first came here from the Dust Bowl or wherever they came from, the tree probably looked just like this branch. And when you cut a tree this young, you can actually stick another tree that's closely related, which will probably be within the same genus or at least the same family, and they will fuse if you tape them up or use certain kinds of hormones. So this was done to this tree when it was about this big, this little branch here, and it has grown over the past probably 60 years to become this. So grafting is something that you can do at home. You can do it in a lab, which is probably very scientific, but doesn't need to be. These were definitely not done in a lab. These were done ages ago, probably just in the back of the barn in the farm, where you wrap the graft connection to keep pathogens out, keep mold out, and then after a couple of weeks, those two separate species organisms will fuse together and form functioning xylem. Pretty cool, huh? So here we have a mature tree, and it looks like over the years, do you know that trees have set lifespans too? So these trees are getting pretty close to their lifespan. But I just wanted to point out how interesting it is that we have two different types of foliage there. The Juglans hindsii being very prominent, the genetic resource is still down there. And then we have the grafted top with the very high nut producing tasty nuts. And beautiful foliage there of your Juglans regalia. Pretty dang cool, huh? Okay, that's all I want to talk about. See ya.